Hello friends. Today we will see complete analysis of economy paper for upcoming prelims. Often it is said that economy is a very scoring subject, and this is repeated again and again. But we encounter a lot of issues, and those issues, how to overcome them. First of all, what is the importance of the paper? Secondly, what are the key observations which I have personally observed in my experience of clearing 5 prelims? Then I will discuss about the topic-wise PYQ distribution. What are the topics from which UPS is asking question? Basically, a 80-20 principle. What is happening is from the 20% of the topics of economy, 80% of questions are coming in the prelims examination. Then I will also discuss about what is important for prelims 2025, having a sort of future forecast. I will also discuss what are the issues that you are facing while preparing and how to solve them. Then a complete detailed way forward. I will also discuss about the sources to be followed and what are the issues with the sources which are prevalent. So all of these will be discussed in a great detail. So let's start. Okay. So first is the importance of the economy in prelims. Often it is said that gateway to prelims is from two papers. The first is polity and second is economy. Why it is said that? Because both the papers are scoring if you have read it in a manner that you have analyzed PYQs, what all are important topics, what UPSC is following, a pattern, what they are following, and according to which you are now strategizing your preparation. If you're doing this, then certainly these two papers can fetch you even 85% of marks. This is also possible and many do score it. But there are lots of hurdles to score 85%. If you're not following the apt strategy, these two papers can become your graveyard as well, because both the papers have lots of cleavages. A polity question, entire meaning can change by just changing one word. Same goes with economy. Economy is highly conceptual, and it is also very vast. Okay. Secondly, prelims syllabus, which we do discuss, which we do read, in economy, it is clearly mentioned. So what all can come? There are like economic and social development, poverty, demographics, social sector initiative, inclusion, external sector, internal sector, banking, everything is clearly delineated because economics is a very scientific subject. Compared to subjects like history, where there is no delineation, anything can come. History of India, whatever has happened, anything can be asked. It is very vast. It has a combination of static and dynamic questions. They will ask you a few data, a few facts as well. And this is quite important for prelims examination. We want to score very high marks. However, as I always say, static is king here because economy is all about its terms, its terminologies, its factors. It's a seemingly a science. Okay. When we are trying to predict about future, it has to have certain concepts. And those concepts are not changing every day. So static will obviously dominate here a lot. Now let's see how I'm telling that current affairs is also coming and static is also coming. Question on digital rupee was there. Now in 2023, if you see the paper, there is a question on digital rupee. And that was discussed in budget 2022-23. So in taking inspiration from that, this question came. Conceptual, there was a question on correlation of inflation and growth, which is a conceptual question direct from the macroeconomics NCERT book. So what type of questions do come? Now some key observations. Average questions per year, around 18 to 20 are coming on an average. I'm including current affairs based economy question as well. This is perhaps the highest among all these subjects. Now, environment and economy, as I had discussed previously as well, that economy is something, environment is something which is very deciding. Economy is also another subject. If you include current affairs of economy as well, it is approximately 18 to 20% of your prelims paper. So certainly this is a paper which you cannot avoid. If you like, whether you dislike, that doesn't matter. Now, if you see the paper, 70% of economy questions are coming from 3 topics. We will discuss in detail, just having a slight key observations. The first is external sector. It is one of the darlings of UPSC. Second is money supply. A lot of questions come from money supply. And third is banking sector. These 3, though, you will have to have a great command. You will have to give a great time for this and having a very good conceptual clarity on these 3 topics. If I talk about certain recurring themes, you can see payment ecosystem, digital finance came a lot post demonetization in 2017, 18, 19. This was a recurring theme. But agriculture and MSP has been a repetitive theme. In 2020, though, 3 questions came, but it is quite important. Agriculture is dominating. 2021 and 22 was an exception because 20 May UPS has asked a lot of agriculture questions. So just to surprise the students in 21 and 22, the number of questions from agriculture decreased. Then agricultural trade, which is the number one export, import, etc. The trade part is dominating nowadays. So this is something about fact and data. You cannot ignore it. Agricultural trade. Okay? And this is quite important even in GCS examination. If you are preparing for UPPCS, this is a very, very important theme. You can see now there have been a lots of repetition in economy. There can be, I can show you a number of questions. Economy is one paper where now ditto questions get repeated. They are not very, very high, but there are certainly, if even if 1 or 2 question is getting repeated, 1 or 2 question is enough to destroy your 1 year. So we cannot ignore it. Like Bank Board Bureau was asked multiple times. 19 and 21, there were identical questions, repeated questions. Many questions were there. Deficit question was asked in 15 and again in 16. There are a number of such examples. At least 1 or 2 questions are getting repeated. If you are solving properly 10 years PYQ, you will see repeated themes. Not themes, but exact questions are also getting repeated. Themes obviously will get repeated. Microeconomics is largely ignored. Macro is something which dominates. Only 2 questions in last 7 years was asked from microeconomics. May feature in upcoming paper if they want to surprise you, but you cannot dwell a lot in microeconomics. You'll have to prioritize macroeconomics. Why? I'm giving you a theory. Suppose this year they will make economy very, very tough. So just to balance it, there will be a few papers which will be made easier compared to last year. Otherwise, cutoff will go to 50 marks because economy is something which is scoring, which is helping people to score more than 90 marks. If economy is coming very, very tough, certainly 1 or 2 subjects, maybe history, maybe polity, will become easier. So if at all, even if you are not studying a lot of microeconomics, you are giving good amount of time to polity, history as well, other subjects as well. Overall, you will not be in a loss situation. You will score better marks in those paper, which will be made comparatively easier. So overall, it doesn't hamper your future. If you are not putting all eggs in one basket, if you are not trying to just cover all the dots which are there. I often talk to lots of students and they are mostly concentrating on peripheral or some surprise questions. I had a long conversation with one of the students and she kept on stressing on only one question for 1 hour. So this should not be your attitude. Now you have to focus on low-hanging fruits. Okay. Then there are also some questions which are asked on accountancy-based principle like capital revenue, cyber insurance, but they are very, very few. Just UPSC is trying to surprise and expand its scope. There were certain dropped questions as well. Like in 2020, international trade of India was dropped. Capital flight in 22 was dropped. There was some error in making the question. Expected future trends, I am discussing here in brief. I will discuss in detail. Digital economy is something which will stay important in upcoming prelims examination as well, because it is very, very important for our future, country's future. Now, CBDC to be precise. Financial inclusion and trade will dominate because trade is something which is discussed everywhere. Vis-a-vis, you see, US and India. US in India is in newspaper, okay, because of tariffs, etc., WTO. So you can expect a lot of questions based on it. MSP will be in news. Agricultural trade will be coming in prelims 2025. Inflation control is very, very important for our economy. So it will come. You see now when oil prices increase, it suddenly pops up in your news channel. So that is the importance of inflation for a country like India. If you see the trend analysis, that is number of economy questions in prelims from 2015, that is last 10 years, it has remained fairly constant. Never ever it has gone below 15 questions ka mark. It is usually either 17, 18, 16, sometimes 20, sometimes even 21. Okay, so usually it is 18 to 20. Consistently it is fetching you good dividend. Now, see PYQ distribution. I had told you 80-20 principle. We had talked about this, that from 20% of topic, 80% of questions are coming. So what are those topics? Just see the analysis. Macroeconomics, external sector, number of questions in last 10 years has come 42. That is 4 questions every year. 4 questions every year is coming from external sector. Next is fiscal policy and government budgeting. 20 questions have come. That is 2 questions per year. Third most important is banking and banking regulation. 18 questions have come. That is again approximately 2 questions. Then financial market, 16 questions have come. Sometimes two, sometimes one question. Monetary policy, every year, almost one question has come. National income accounting, almost one question. Money and money supply, almost one question. But these, these four topics. These four topics, if you are completing, this only will give you four question plus 2, 6 plus 2, 8, plus 2, 10, around 11 questions, 10, 11 questions. These four topics will give you. And if you add now this national income accounting and money and money supply, inflation and recession and payment ecosystem, these all topics, if you are covering, your 80% of economy is done. Okay. Agriculture is also one portion which I had discussed, is very, very important. Okay. Apart from it, social security, sometimes one question, sometimes zero. Labor and employment, sometimes one, sometimes zero. Skill acquisition, poverty, 1991 reform, planning, energy sector, infrastructure, industries, land reform, quality and standardization, digitization, opportunity cost, law of demand and supply. 500 approximately pages are given in some of the famous institute booklets on these topics. Okay, on these topics. So if I would be studying for economy, I will focus first on agriculture. Okay, I will focus on external sector, fiscal policy and government budgeting, banking sector and banking regulation, financial market, monetary policy first. After that, I will read national income accounting, money supply, inflation, payment ecosystem. If I have time, I will go for 2 readings of all these topics. I will go for the important 20% topic. I will read around 6-7 times. I will master it so that I am maximizing my score. This could be the smart strategy. You cannot master everything. Issue faced while preparing for economy. There are conceptual confusion. Difference between macro and microeconomics is one such example. What does micro means? What does macro means? Now, there are conceptual confusion. Until and unless you are conceptually clear in economic terms, the questions will seem very tough. There are too many sources. Second issue is this. There is NCERT, macro and microeconomic book. There are budget, economic survey. There are multiple institute booklets. And most of the institute booklets or books are extremely bulky. There are lack of any sharp or crisp revision modules which are focusing on PYQ themes. I'm not telling that PYQ will get as it is repeated, but topics you can forecast and you can focus on all these things. This is the smart way. People who are clearing prelims again and again, they are not Einstein. I am not Einstein. I have cleared every time prelims because of the smart way. And people, there will be a lots of noise. There are lakhs of Telegram channels. Telegram is not asking any money to open a channel. So there, everybody is coming up with their own strategy. But this is something, if you will do, I can guarantee you, you will yourself feel that your chance of clearing prelims will increase. Then linking static and current. Now, sometimes the portions are linked because something has happened in current in terms of regulation, and that will be added as a one statement in entire question. So interlinking is very, very important. Or some event has happened, US bond yield, etc., was correlated with Indian economy, and that was inspired from current affairs. So this is again a very difficult situation. PYQs are often tricky and often requires a good level of elimination, or you can say commonsensical filtering of statements as well. This is also very, very important because in economy, a new kind of question is asked compared to others. Best correlates because all the 4 will be correct. They have to choose the best option. So here, lots of common sense is required. Okay. Now, 2023 PYQ, there was a question on inflation targeting, and it was linked to both RBI's monetary policy and the budget policy. The fiscal and monetary both was correlated to make one question. So this is the trickiness. Now, how to overcome these issues? Follow a structured plan. Start with I always started with the macroeconomy book. It is very, very good. And I took a lot of help from websites. 2 websites stood out. 2 websites. I will tell you those website name. One is Arthopedia. I used to follow Arthopedia a lot. And another one is Vikaspedia. In both the websites, there were lots of illustrations, examples, good definitions. So I used to take a lot of help. Nowadays, you have a lots of AI chatbots as well, so that you also can utilize to understand, because understanding is very, very important. And I used to solve a lots of PYQs. PYQs were something which I used to not even solve, but I used to analyze my mistake. If in 2018 I have made a mistake, I will analyze why it went wrong. Was it because of my conceptual lack of clarity, or I overthinked, or I could not apply common sense, or I could not utilize time properly? Oh, no, there is a science that if you're applying in a question more than 2 minutes, 90% there is a probability that you will end up choosing wrong option. If you cannot correlate with it, then I might be wrong, but think. You analyze and you see if you are applying more than 2 minutes in a question, 90% of the time it goes wrong. Okay. And following limited sources. For current affairs, PIB and Hindu was something which I saw that it inspired a few questions. And these are two reliable sources. Now, when I'm seeing Press Information Bureau, it has come up with, say, for example, budget summary or economic survey. So questions may come from Press Information Bureau summary. Even examiners are taking a clue from it. And if you can observe RBI repo rate question 2015, 18, 2020, all based on simple concepts. So you need to master the concept. 80-20 rule I had explained you. 80% of economy related questions are coming from 20% topic. Okay. And important themes. If you see in monetary policy, what they are asking: repo rate, CRR, SLR. These three are master. Fiscal policy, they are asking again and again budget deficit and fiscal responsibility in Budget Management Act, FRBM. You also need to read a bit about Finance Commission. 15th and 16th Finance Commission will be enough. I don't think they will ask now 14 Finance Commission unless they want to surprise you. But 15 and 16 you should read pakka se. External sector, BOP, balance of payment, forex, exports. They are asking lots of questions in it. And I have just shown it. What are those the themes? 20% theme that cause 80%, and we had discussed earlier as well. So what books to read? So 11th and 12th are the basic foundation. I had read it, specifically the macroeconomics book. Business study, there is a NCERT class 12. It has also lots of concepts explained in an easier manner. I always focus on NCERTs first because it has been made in such a manner that a person of any IQ can understand it. Okay. Then PIB articles, Arthopedia and Vikaspedia and Investopedia. Sorry, I forgot one more. These three websites I referred a lot for understanding anything, or even to say the facts and figures also. Trends were sometimes mentioned in Investopedia. Okay, economic survey and budget. Analytical approach should be there. You should not read the entire economic survey, even a summary, analyze it. If there are certain trends, if there is certain keyword which is used again and again. In budget, see if something new has been launched, something new has been done, or if budget is also talking about certain trends, you can just read it. PIB, The Hindu or Indian Express both covers usually same kinds of news. And books, I didn't follow it much. So there are two, Sanjeev Verma, Ramesh Singh. Ramesh Singh I never followed. And Sanjeev Verma I had seen a few chapters, but I could not follow it. Some popular institutes are there as well. 2000 pages booklet. You must be knowing the such name. I'm not endorsing anyone. Even if you are reading it, if you have read already it, read it selectively. Read the topics. Don't read everything. Around 300, 400 pages are important from that booklet, which you should read. The n number of schemes, n number of initiatives, poverty, industry, all of the topics which I discussed from where questions are not coming, avoid it. Okay, don't run behind those 2000 pages. It is very, very important. Otherwise, your attempt is very, very precious. I'm not endorsing anything. I'm not trying to point out at any institute. Everybody is trying their best to gauge the UPSC, what UPSC is demanding. Okay, after all, you have to take a judgment. If you have already revised it twice, then you can go for it at this juncture. If you try to you are trying to pick it first time, then just read it very selectively. No, only initial pillars, etc. So how PYQs are repeated? Again, I'm giving you an example because people sometimes say, no, PYQs, Indian UPSC is changing pattern and this and that. They might be changing. But I can show you in 2019, they had asked, 2018, they had asked questions similar type of 97 and 98. So things will get repeated. It's like fashion. 1990s, what shirts and what type of baggies, etc. people used to wear. Nowadays, Gen Z also wear same kind. So if fashion gets recycled, UPSC also has a limited question. They are not Einstein. They are not Stephen Hawking. They will innovate a new thing. That's not going to happen. Okay. So say for example, fiscal deficit asked in 15, got repeated in 16 and 19. MSP asked first time in 16, repeated in 19 and 20. Monetary policy was asked in 17, a question. 20 and 22, the same question was repeated. Okay. Digital payments got repeated thrice. Repo rate got repeated thrice. CBDC got repeated thrice. RBI functions got repeated twice, and that too back to back. So you need to be very focused what UPSC is demanding. What are the expected questions in prelims 2024-25? So from monetary policy, I'm expecting repo rate, CRR, RBI is inflation targeting. These three you need to master. In banking regulations, public sector banks, how they're regulated, financial inclusion, UPI, CBDC, please revise it. Fiscal policy, deficit, all types of deficit you need to understand and relation. FRBM, okay, GST, direct tax trends, direct tax code is expected to come. So this is very important. External sector, And so in external sector BOP, understand all the components. Forex reserves, you need to understand. Export policies and export trends also you need to understand. Government schemes and digital economy like ONDC, DBT, digital currency, I am expecting a question from it as well. Final words for aspirants. PYQ are most valuable resource. Revise them regularly and they are important. How to utilize PYQ? I have made one detailed video how toppers use PYQ. So that video, if you haven't watched, go and watch that video in Art of Clearing Prelims series. Use 80-20 principle, focus on those 20% important chapters and go in a great depth. Rest of the chapters, don't go in that depth, but do read it. Okay. Revise budget and economic survey, but very selectively, as I had discussed here. Practice MCQ daily, otherwise you will not know how to correlate different concepts, because correlation is very, very important. Don't just read theories, otherwise you will falter in the paper. Mock test and time management is extremely important. Otherwise, you will end up taking a lots of time to solve one economic question. And stick to limited number of high quality sources. That's very, very important. Focus on concepts. Current affairs may see the trends. Trends are usually important. And some schemes if it has come. PYQ is very important, and focus on developing that commonsensical understanding to correlate different things. So get started today. Don't let 2025 be just another attempt. If it wasn't your year in 24 or 23 or 22, if you will focus in a structured manner, my only purpose of making this video is to give you a clarity. And I hope these all videos are making a difference. For any doubt or query, you can contact on WhatsApp. This is the number. You can pause and see. Our website is there. Our Telegram channel is there. Our YouTube channel is there. We are on Instagram as well with name Karmyogi Pathshala. So we are everywhere. You can seek our help if you wish. Take care. Best wishes.